My name is Sarah. I am 46 years old. My life is simple and quiet. I work in an office, and I often work very long hours. Because of the heavy workload, I am always exhausted. I feel like a machine that only works, eats, and sleeps. I feel very lonely. One night, I left the office very late. It was midnight. Usually I go straight home, but that night I stopped walking. I looked at a building nearby. It was a bar. I said to myself, Sarah, you need to relax. So I decided to go inside. I walked to the bar counter and ordered a drink. I found a small table in the corner and sat down alone. I watched people dancing and couples talking closely. Then, a young man walked over to my table. He asked if he could sit down. I said yes. He told me his name was Mark and he was 23 years old. I felt the big age difference between us, but I did not say anything. He was young and handsome. Mark was confident. He looked at me and said, "You look very beautiful tonight." I was surprised. I laughed a little because I felt shy. Usually I felt invisible when I went out, but tonight Mark made me feel seen. He asked me questions about my life and listened carefully to my answers. Mark was flirting with me, and I knew it. For many years, I had only thought about my work. Now I was thinking about myself. I felt like a woman again. I forgot that I was 46 years old. I forgot my problems and my loneliness. I only focused on Mark's smile. Mark asked me to dance. I felt nervous, but he took my hand and led me to the middle of the room. He pulled me close to him. I had not been this close to a man in years. I tried to look away, but I could not. I kept looking at Mark's face and began to blush. Then he kissed me. My heart beat fast. I knew I should stop this, but I did not want to return to my lonely life. I said to Mark, "Let's get out of here." Mark smiled. He did not ask where we were going, he simply nodded. We left the bar and walked quickly toward my apartment. I knew this might be a big mistake, but I did not care. Mark looked at me like I was the only woman in the world. He made me feel young again. We arrived at my small apartment and went inside. We talked for a long time, and eventually we fell asleep. Mark slept beside me, and I felt safe. The next morning, I woke up and looked at Mark. He was still sleeping. I told myself that this was just one night and everything would be fine. Suddenly, I heard a sound, a key turning in the lock. I froze. It was my daughter's key. My heart stopped. I could not breathe. My daughter was supposed to be away for the whole weekend. Why was she home now? I knew I was in big trouble. I woke Mark up and pushed him inside the bedroom closet. I closed the door quickly. My daughter called out, "Mom, are you awake?" I tried to look normal. I opened the bedroom door. My hands were shaking. My daughter walked inside. She began to walk toward my bedroom. I needed to stop her because Mark was hiding in the closet. I quickly said, "Wait, do you want some tea or coffee?" She said no and went into the kitchen. This was my only chance. I opened the closet door and whispered to Mark, "You must go now." Mark nodded and moved toward the front door. I thought the problem was over, but then he stopped. He gave me a strange look. He said, "Your daughter is cute too." I could not move. My face burned with anger and shame. I pointed at the door. "Stay away from me. Do not come back." I pushed him out of the apartment and locked the door. I went to the kitchen and tried to act normal. My daughter asked if everything was okay. I just smiled and said yes. I knew I had made a huge mistake. I hoped he would forget me. The next day, my doorbell rang. I opened the door. It was Mark. He looked happy, but he did not talk about the night we spent together. He only talked about money. He said, "I need some cash now." I was confused. I thought if I gave him money, he would leave me alone. So I gave him some cash. It was not a lot, but it was all I had on me. I told him, "Take this, please go and never come back." He took the money and walked away. But Mark did not disappear. He came back the next week. Then he came back again the week after that. Every time he asked for money, I felt angrier, but also more scared. I tried to say no, but he wouldn't listen. Mark started to change his words. His requests became threats. He said, "Sarah, you must give me what I need today." I shook my head. "I do not have any more money for you." He smiled cruelly. "If you do not give me the money, I will tell your daughter everything." My heart stopped. He knew my greatest fear. He knew I was afraid of losing my daughter's respect. This was blackmail. My life was falling apart because of one bad decision. Every day, Mark asked for more. I gave him money, but the fear did not leave. I told many lies to my daughter to explain where the money went. I could not continue living with these secrets. One night, I sat my daughter down. With tears in my eyes, I told her everything. I cried because I was ashamed. I thought my daughter would be angry at me for being foolish, but she did not scream. She listened to every word. She was not angry at me. She was angry at Mark for hurting me. She said, "Mom, that man is terrible. We must stop him." She hugged me and added, "You are safe now, Mom. You are not alone in this." The next day was difficult. I knew Mark would come back. My daughter waited with me in the living room. We heard a knock at the door. It was Mark. My daughter walked quickly to the door and opened it. I saw the anger in her eyes. She said, "Stop. You must stop this now. You need to leave us alone." Mark looked shocked. He did not expect to see her. He did not expect her to speak. He realized he had lost. His game was over. My daughter said firmly, "Go now and never come back to this apartment. Never call my mother again." Mark said nothing. He knew he could not win against both of us. He turned and walked away. My daughter closed the door and looked at me. She did not need to speak. I knew what she meant. We sat together on the sofa. We did not talk much, but we felt close. That day, I realized that keeping secrets holds you down, but the truth makes you strong. My daughter's love and the truth set me free from Mark and my own fear. I was ready to start a new life. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.